Okay, so what if I told you there's a tech role out there that's part top-tier software engineer, part business strategist, and part on-the-ground problem solver, all rolled into one? Today, we're diving deep into what might just be tech's hottest new job, the forward-deployed engineer.
And look, this isn't just me saying it. The legendary venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz, A16Z, the folks who backed giants like Facebook and Airbnb, they're the ones calling this the hottest job in tech. When they say something like that, you kind of have to pay attention.
So let's get right to it. What exactly is a forward-deployed engineer? You've probably seen this title popping up more and more, but it can feel a little vague, right? Well, we're going to clear all that up and figure out what this role really means for the rest of us in the tech world.
First things first, let's nail down the core identity of this role. The best way to think about it is as a kind of hybrid super engineer, a single position that smashes together several different jobs into one really high-impact package.
So at its heart, the forward-deployed engineer, or FDE for short, is a true hybrid. They live in two worlds at once. They've got one foot planted firmly inside a customer's organization, solving their unique problems, and the other foot back with their own company's product team, feeding all those incredible real-world insights right back into the code.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because this is not your typical coding job. Just look at these responsibilities. Of course, they need rock-solid engineering skills, but they're also working with the sales team to close deals, embedding directly with customers, and then turning around and building custom solutions on the fly. It's this wild mix of deep tech skills and serious people skills.
And you don't have to take my word for it. Palantir, the company that basically invented this role, puts it perfectly. They say an FDE is like a startup CTO. Just think about that for a second. That means you're not just a cog in a machine. You are owning critical projects from start to finish. You've got all the pressure, but also all the autonomy.
Okay, so this is the question I know you're asking. It sounds a lot like a solutions architect or a sales engineer, right? I mean, they're both technical, both customer-facing, but, and this is a big but, there are a few fundamental differences that put the FDE in a league of its own. Here it is, the key difference. An FDE is a builder, not just an advisor. A solutions architect might design a beautiful plan or build a proof of concept with some sample data. The FDE, on the other hand, is in the trenches, writing actual production code that runs on the customer's live systems. They deal with ambiguity, they use real data, and they're there to implement, not just to strategize.
Now, to really understand the FDE of today, you have to know where it came from. And for that, we have to go back in time to a secretive tech company called Palantir and their elite unit of engineers known as Deltas. Now get this. For years, Palantir had more of these frontline Delta engineers than they had traditional back-office software engineers. That's just wild. It tells you that this role wasn't just some support function. It was the absolute core of how they did business and delivered value to their biggest clients. So why did they need this role so badly? Well, think about Palantir's customers. Huge, slow-moving organizations like government agencies and massive corporations. The Delta was their secret weapon. They could basically parachute a nimble, startup-minded engineer directly into that bureaucracy to just cut through the red tape and get stuff done.
Okay, so let's fast forward from those origins to right now, because this role is having a massive comeback. And the number one reason for that is the one technology that is completely changing the game: artificial intelligence. Just think about it for a minute. Companies like OpenAI are building these incredibly powerful AI models. But for a big company to actually use them, they can't just read the API docs. They need an expert who can help them stitch that new AI tech into their messy, complicated real-world systems. And that, right there, is the perfect job for a forward-deployed engineer. OpenAI's process shows you exactly how it works. Their FDEs don't just show up and start writing code. First, they're on site for days, just listening and understanding the real problem. Then they build something small to prove that their idea will actually work with real customer data. And only then do they build and deliver the final, full-blown solution. It's a super smart way to reduce risk for everyone. So, to make this all a little less abstract, let's look at an amazing real-world example. We're talking about an OpenAI FDE who went from the heart of Silicon Valley to the middle of Iowa farmland to get the job done. I mean, this story is just the perfect summary of the FDE role. You have an OpenAI engineer who literally flies out to Iowa, gets their boots muddy, working directly with farmers, and builds an AI solution for John Deere.
And they did it all under the insane pressure of a single growing season. It just doesn't get more forward deployed than that. Okay, so we've defined the FDE, we've traced its history, and we've seen it in action. But let's zoom all the way out. Why should you care about this one job title? What does its rise really tell us about where the whole tech industry is going? Well, this is way more than just a new title on LinkedIn. It's a signal. It tells us that tech products are becoming so powerful and so complex, think huge AI platforms, that the old walls between product, sales, and engineering just don't work anymore. To win, you need engineers on the front lines creating this incredibly tight, fast feedback loop between what the customer needs and what the product team builds. And that really leads us to the big, provocative question to chew on. In this new era of complex AI, is the forward-deployed engineer just a temporary niche role? Or is this a sneak peek into the future of what it means to be a software engineer, period? Something to think about.